Alright, so here's the demo portion. As you can see, I'm in the corporate hangar in Oxygen. I'm just going to show you real quick a couple of things, a couple of the more important things. One of the things you're going to want to be aware of is there is a corporate ships section. These are ships that the corporation owns or people have lent to the corporation for new player use. Please do not take these ships out of Oxygen. They're here so that people who want to participate and don't have the means or didn't bring a ship can come in to the corporate hangar, pick one of these up, and go out into the belts and help the corporation in a meaningful way. Please respect that. Secondarily, you're going to see, if you've watched in the earlier videos, you'll know, kind of be familiar with these tabs. There's the corporate ship section, there's the ore for refining, and we're going to get to this more later because this is really where what this video is about, is making sure that once you've hauled the ore from the location where we're mining back to the station, what you're going to want to do with it. And so I'm going to show you kind of the best practices so that we don't get it all mixed up and everybody who was involved in the op gets paid correctly. So the first thing though I'm going to do before we go into any of that is I just want to talk briefly about outfitting an Indy. I know I mentioned it in the introduction, but I want to give you a quick view of what I'm talking about. Like I said, there's really only two things you need to concern yourself with. One are these cargo expanders. If you're going to bring an Indy down here and you're going to fit it out, you're probably not going to spend a lot of time getting shot at, so fit it out however you think you need to keep it from getting destroyed. But the belt rats in high sec are not that tough. And generally speaking, if you're group mining or mining with in an op, the drones from the miners are going to be able to take care of any belt rats before they can do any serious damage to your ship. So don't worry about fitting this thing out for a combat run. If you're hauling in Oxygen, generally speaking, you want to have maximum cargo capacity, and that means getting these cargo expander 2s on there. Now, the only other thing that I mentioned earlier and that you want to think about is getting a tractor beam and putting it in this high slot. The reason for that is occasionally somebody will be finishing off the tail end of a belt and they'll have a can all by themselves way out. You don't really want to have to warp out and warp back to that can, or worse yet, drive this thing, because you can see what the speed is here. 117 meters per second is nothing. It'll take you a decade to get there. So if you throw a tractor beam on here, you can reach out, grab that can from within 20 kms and pull it back in and not have to drive out there. So not essential, but useful in certain situations. So all right, I'll close that down. Now let me get to the meat and potatoes of this, and that is, you can see here in the ore for refining section, there's three things I want you to notice, and that's the existing bookmarks here. Scrolling down, you'll see all the ore that's in here, and then you'll see these station containers. Now, to keep the ore from getting all mixed up, if we have multiple ops and Soli hasn't been able to refine it in a timely manner, they added these station containers to the ore for refining section. Now, what this process is going to entail, like I described earlier, is create a bookmark, put a bookmark in a station container, put all the container for that op, or put all the ore for that op in the container you bookmarked. It's just, it sounds simple, but if you get it all mixed up and it doesn't end up in the correct place, somebody else is going to get paid for your work, or worse yet, Soli's going to have a nightmare sorting it all out, and somebody's going to be unhappy. So remember, we do this to have fun, and part of having fun is respecting whatever everyone's work and the effort that they're putting in for their tune. So the process is actually fairly simple. If you don't have a bookmark already and you need to create one, the people and places section, you can open this up, and then you see I've got a ton of bookmarks here. If you haven't created one already, go ahead and create one. I know I've got one here somewhere that I can rename. We'll use this guy right here, and then I can view the location. Once I've got it open here, I should be able to delete this. And now when I do mine, I like to do them by date, because you can match the date up from the bookmark with the AAR you're going to create later. That AAR is essential too, because then it allows, you can post how much the totals were in there. Soli can go in and say, hey, this has been done and paid. You can check it out of, on the forums. Everybody knows when the payouts have happened. There's no confusing. You have a central location to know, hey, okay, the process is complete. If there was a problem, we can go back and look and say, hey, it was paid out on this date. Why wasn't I paid? Or whatever. So make sure you do that. Make sure that once you've labeled this with a date. Oops. And then try and put the names of who was involved in the op. In this case, it's only going to be me. So now I've got my bookmark here. I can open up my cargo hold and I can drag it into there. Or I can open up one of these little station container doohickeys here by right-clicking on it and selecting Open Container. And you'll look, I get an extra tab here, and there's a container in here. And now what I can do is I can take this bookmark that I've created, drag it in there, and ta-da! I have a locked container. These things are going to show up as locked because you can't take anything out of it once you put it in. That's done to keep people from coming in later and stealing ore that other people have worked for and putting it in different places or just selling it. So this is kind of a one-way transaction. You put it into the container, it stays there, it's audited and logged so that everybody knows, what was going on with this, and there's to kind of cut down on loss and prevent theft. But now that I've got the tag in there, what I can do is I can go back and I can drag the ore out of my cargo hold, which is the usual case, but in this instance I've got all the ore stuck in my personal items here, so I'm going to go ahead and select that and then drag it into that station container. You'll go back over here and you'll see all the ore that was over there is now here. Now Soli will come through eventually, take care of this, sort it all out, and refine it and sell it. So that's pretty much the process. Now you've seen, I'm not going to take you out into the belts to show you how to haul. It's pretty simple. Create a bookmark, warp to and from the bookmark. It's really one of the most boring jobs in Eve, but it is an essential job, and it is important that that everybody know how to do that. So if you're called upon to run as an indie, as a hauler, and you can't figure that out, maybe you need to put the computer back in the box and send it back from wherever it came from. But that's pretty simple. Get in your hauler, go out there, bookmark the can, warp to and fro. So the rest of it, there is a little bit more to it, and you'll be forgiven for not understanding this. So please ask questions if you run into this stuff and you don't understand it. And make sure that, like I said, the key is, bookmark the station container that you're putting your stuff in. And you can. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that you can also use this. Soli will refine for you, and he has a very good refining skill. So if you solo mine in Ophagen, or you want to bring your ore here, and you're not a great refiner, bring it here, mark it like this, put it in here, and Soli will refine it when he gets the chance, and you can make a little extra money that way because he's probably got a better refining skill than you do as a new player. So but make sure that when you're putting stuff in these station containers, you mark it, especially if you're in an op, with a bookmark that says what day it was put in here and who was involved, and then follow that up by going out, taking the totals, and plugging them into the forums AARs, the after action reports, to make sure that when Soli goes through, he can simply post, this was paid now, and everybody who was involved can go there and look, and there's you don't have to run around and figure out if it was paid out or not. You can go to the forums, look into your AAR, and know what was paid. So, all right, I'm going to wrap this up then in just a second, and we're going to get out of this demo, and we're going to wrap this up and give you just a few more things before we go. All right, see you on the other side. Be done with it. The last piece of information I want to impart to you again, included everywhere, but I want to make sure that I'm clear with this, is that how to get to the forums. That's http://umni.forummotion.com. And then once you're there, you'll probably, the section you're going to want to fill is this after action reports. Now, if you have any questions, this, once again, all of it is, somebody is there to help. Please ask questions of the other members of the corporation, or if you're having questions about these videos please feel free to email me directly, or email me directly. I always want to say email, but email me directly, and there's my handle. Thank you for watching, and hope you enjoyed the video series. I will maybe back with a in-game safety one. We'll see how that works out. All right. Have a nice day, and I will see you in New Eden.